objectives are really important because they help you guide you through your work.
The learning objectives are given to you at the start of the lesson by the teacher, and you need to know them in order to know what you're learning.
Yeah, but you also need to talk about them a lot through the lesson and make sure that you understand them and can achieve them.
If you understand the success criteria, you're obviously going to understand the learning objectives.
I know.
Sharp.
I think success criteria are really important because it shows what you need to improve on when you're doing the work.
One way teachers get students to take responsibility for their own learning is by simplifying the objective into their own words.
Success criteria guides us on how to do things and what to do things and how to do it, such as PE paragraphs, point, evidence, explanation.
At the end of a lesson, teachers may ask you to write 3 sentences about the lesson to see if you understand.
Throughout the lessons you'll get goals, and if you reach those goals then they'll be really good because you know that you've understood the work and you can move on to the next thing without being confused.
Teachers want to know how far you are at your learning.
When you've been set an activity or something, they really want to make sure you understand what you've learnt and what they've taught you.
So if you put your thumb up, that means you understand, and if you don't understand, put your thumb down.
And you might use the traffic lights. Green is I understand, amber is maybe, and red is I don't understand.
But you have to make sure that you're honest with it and you don't just put a green card up if you don't know, because it's not going to do anything.
Are you sure it's okay?
When you're in a lesson and a teacher asks you to do an activity that shows how you're doing, don't copy your friends, because that won't show how well you're actually doing. You want the teacher to know how you're actually doing so they can work on your weaknesses and you can achieve as well as you can.
Be honest.
A teacher may ask a question and ask all students to keep their hands down. This gives time for all students to think about the answer.
So when we did it, he made us put our heads down, so we just didn't copy people.
I think that way is better, doing it like that, because then
It's not always the same people.
Yeah, you got a chance, but you don't really know who it's going to be.
Oh, it makes you think.
It makes the whole class.
And always the same people put their hands up, and like it doesn't give
Yeah, when it's hands up,
the people.
Yeah. Teachers, like now, they give you all this feedback for you to take in.
Teachers have a system called 2 stars, 1 wish. And so when you do a piece of work and you hand it back to be marked, they tell you 2 stars, which you've done really well, and what you've done really well on, and 1 wish, which is what you could do to improve to the next level. And that's really helpful because the wish tells you how to get better, and you've got to pay extra attention to that.
So when you're giving an essay or some work, piece of work, and a teacher gives you a mark and the feedback, don't just look at the mark and throw the piece of paper away. Look at your feedback as well, because that's the most important thing on your sheet.
And yeah, you should focus on the feedback the teacher gives you rather than the actual grade, as the feedback will help you get to the next level, and that's where they tell you what you need to do to improve. So it's no good worrying about what grade you got.
Yeah, and they won't just say like, oh, well done, you did well. They're always going to say like what you need to improve on to help your next target, so you better read it.
Yeah, you should read it. It's important. It's the most important thing.
Read it.
If you're not going to read it, you're not going to improve, you're not going to do as good as you could have done. Also, you need to hand in your work, because if you're not handing in any of your homework or your assessments or anything like if you're not handing any of them in, then you're not going to get feedback and you're not going to know how to improve. So, you need to improve.
Oh, I think he's been sick on you!
Oh!
In Cheney School, we like to work individually and in small groups.
How you can use each other to learn, and not just the teachers.
I find I learn more by working in pairs, because you can combine each other's knowledge to learn more and make a brilliant piece of work.
Peer assessment is when pupils in the class mark each other's work. Self-assessment is when you mark your own. Usually when doing peer assessment, a teacher will give you some sort of guideline or criteria. Be careful when you mark each other's work, that you don't give a higher mark to a friend.
And when you're in groups and you can make up quizzes and stuff, and then when you quiz each other, you can learn from each other the things other people have learnt and stuff. So.
The good thing about peer assessment is that it's a useful skill to develop when you're young, because you might use it when you're older.
Don't underestimate how much you can learn from each other.
And don't just let your whole group just do the work, like get involved, because everybody has a role, and like don't be lazy.
But sometimes when you do work together, you can go track and talk about something irrelevant. So when you do work together, make sure you're on track.
And we do competitions, so with prizes at the end, so people feel motivated and
it's more fun.
Yeah, it's more fun.
Stay focused.
Is she okay?
It's important to know how what you're learning is going to be useful within your course, for exams and in real life scenarios.
You don't always need the teacher to do work, you could ask someone next to you or look in your book.
Sometimes kids have to think for themselves. Instead of putting your hand up, check your 3 B's first. Brain, book, body.
And always bring your equipment to class and be ready to learn.
Remember the 5 R's.
Responsibility.
Resilience.
The
5 R's.
Responsibility.
Yeah, being ready to learn.
Resilience.
Bye! That was really good.
Okay, brilliant. Guys, thank you very much.